Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Before we read, let's invoke the blessing of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karan Karanam जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we have been reading from the book Trinadapi Sunichena by Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. So we are at page number 186. Celestial being. The demigods are also devotees because they carry out the orders of Supreme Lord, but they are very proud and arrogant. There is always fighting between demigods and demons. Sometimes demons emerge victorious and demigods are defeated, or else the demons are defeated at the hands of demigods. Once upon a time, when the demons were defeated, the demigods became proud. Now we are victorious. When demigods think in this way, Supreme Lord understands this and crushes their pride. That is Krishna's mercy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis, Krishna's cowherd girlfriends, say, Nijjana Samaya Dhvamsana Smita. O Lord, you crush the pride of your own men. That is your mercy. Therefore, when demigods become puffed up, Krishna wanted to crush their pride, and he appeared before them in wonderful form of a yaksha, a celestial being. When the Supreme Lord appeared in this wonderful form, the demigods were unable to recognize him. Out of curiosity, Indra asked Agni and Vayu to find out who the celestial being was. Next, where is your Shakti? Agni Deva went there and asked, Who are you? The Lord in his wonderful Yaksha form replied, Who are you? Agni Deva replied very arrogantly, Don't you know who am I? Who I am? I am the Agni, the famous Jata Veda, the fire god. Oh, you are fire god? Are you very great? Oh, yes. What can you do? I can burn anything to ashes. The Lord took a blade of grass and placed it before Agni. All right, burn this tiny piece of grass. Agni applied all his power and energy, but could not even begin to burn it. Where is your Shakti, power? The Lord asked. With his pride crushed, Agni hung his head and left. Then Vayu went to see the Yaksha and asked, Who are you? Yaksha said, Who are you? I am the wind god, Vayu said proudly. Are you very great, wind god? Oh, yes. What can you do? I can blow away anything. The Yaksha pointed to the tiny blade of grass. All right, blow this grass away. Vayu applied all his force, uprooting huge trees, but the tiny blade of grass was not shaken at all. Vayudeva's pride was also crushed. Hanging his head, he also left. At last, Indradeva came to investigate, but wonderful Yaksha had disappeared. There, Indra saw Uma Devi, the wife of Lord Shiva. Who was he? Indra asked. Uma Devi said, Don't you know? He is the supreme Brahman, Parabrahman. You are devoid of Brahma Gyan, knowledge of the absolute truth. Therefore, how can you recognize Brahman? You should have Brahma Gyan. This is a story from Upanishads. Next, pride is the measuring rod. As we can see, sometimes pride crops up even among devotees. It is very subtle, especially in Kali Yuga, the present age. It is said pride is the measuring rod. Everyone thinks himself to be very great. Yes, I'm great. Then others will say, what? You are great? No, I'm greater. Then they quarrel and fight. This is Kali Yuga, the age of quarreling and fighting. Two persons fight and quarrel. Two groups fight and quarrel. Two villages, two towns, two nations. This quarreling is going on because everyone thinks I'm great. In such a horrible age, where pride is the measuring rod, Mahaprabhu's teaching is essential. Trinadapi sunichena, taroriva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in an humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Mahaprabhu gave the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you should chant it. But you should chant in a humble state of mind. Then pure name will come out. You will definitely get Krishna Prem and Krishna because the pure name is non different from Krishna. You will see Krishna and get Krishna. Your life will be successful and you will go back home, back to Godhead. You will never come back to this material world. Mahaprabhu has given the highest to those who chant in a humble mood, but sometimes devotees develop pride. Don't you know who I am? I am the temple president. Don't you know who I am? I am the Sankirtan leader. Yea, such pride is there. Don't you know who I am? I am the number one book distributor. Don't you know who I am? I am the member of the GBC. It is so subtle that it may happen unconsciously. If you develop such pride, how can you chant the pure name? Unless your pride is crushed, you cannot chant the pure name. It is said pride comes before a fall. Therefore, Krishna is so merciful. He crushes his devotees' pride, as he did with Arjuna when they met the Jambuka. Next, take care of your pot. When one develops pride, it is a great obstacle on the path of devotional service. Therefore, though we are engaged in devotional service for many years, still we cannot obtain the mercy of Mahaprabhu. We cannot chant the pure name and get Krishna Prem. Although Mahaprabhu gives Krishna Prem Rasa, we cannot receive it because our container, the heart, is not perfect. Pride, pride, arrogance, conceit, lust, anger, greed, and enviousness are the holes in the pot. Though this prema is being given indiscriminately, if we have not taken care of our heart, everything just pour out. Therefore, take care of what is in your heart. How to chant the pure name. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should think oneself to be the lowest of the low, much humbler than a blade of grass. Mahaprabhu personally set up the example. There should be no pride at all. One should be as tolerant as a tree. You should not demand respect for yourself, but rather you should pay respect to one and all, because Krishna is there in everyone's heart. If you chant Hare Krishna in this mood, you will definitely get Krishna Prema. Otherwise, you cannot chant pure name. नमस नम, नमक्सरा Bahiraya Bate, Tabu Nama Kabunaya. The sound and the syllable of Mahamantra may be uttered, but without humility, it is not real chanting. Only letters of the alphabet will come out. Akshara, just the syllable Ha, Re, Krish, Na, Ra, Ma. The name is not coming out. The pure name is not non-different from Krishna. But what are you chanting? What is coming out? The syllables or name? The pure name is Krishna, and only one who has Krishna Prem can chant the pure name. No one else can chant the pure name. Sometimes Nama Bhasa, a shadow of holy name, may be there, or Nama Pradha, the offense against the name. Yadi Karibe Krishna Nama Sadhu Sangha Kara. If you really desire to chant Krishna Nam purely, earnestly, seek Sadhu Sangha, the company of pure devotees of Sri Krishna. Sadhu means pure devotee, who is completely Krishna conscious, who has Krishna prema, and who chants pure name. His vision is such that he sees Krishna everywhere and he sees everything in its relationship with Krishna. Krishna Sambandha. Next, Bhakti Vilochanena. Bhakta Ama Preme Bandhe Yache Hridaya Bhitare. Yahan Neta Pade Tahan Dekhaya Amare. Shri Krishna, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami quotes Krishna's own words. My pure devotee, Premi Bhakta, has bound me up in his heart with the rope of love. Wherever he looks, he sees me. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Yam Sham Sundaram Achinta Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotee sees in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with salve of love. This vision is required. One whose eyes are smeared with ointment of love of Godhead, who is endowed with bhakti vilochanena, the eye of devotion. He sees the beautiful form of Shyamasundara within and without. Such a complete Krishna conscious person is known as a sadhu. If you associate with such a sadhu and chant Hare Krishna, then pure name will come out. Asadhu sange bhai Krishna naam nahi haya. Namak sara bahiraya bate tabu naam kabhu naya. If you do not associate with a pure sadhu, but associate instead with non-devotees, the pure name will never come. One will chant only syllables or letters of alphabet, sometimes Nama Bhasa, otherwise only Nama Aparadha. If you want to chant Krishna Nam, definitely you have to take Sadhu Sangha. Otherwise, name will never come out in your chanting. Such sadhus, dear devotees of Mahaprabhu, are very merciful. They go everywhere throughout the world to preach the science of Krishna consciousness. They preach the message of Krishna and Mahaprabhu and inculcate Krishna consciousness to those who are devoid of it. Anugrahya cha charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardanasya. Those sadhus have described here out of mercy and only wander this world to deliver those who are devoid of Krishna consciousness. Before next section start, we stop here. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. Now we'll read Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj ki jai. So today we are starting chapter 2, Preaching to America, part 1. Although Srila Prabhupada had said he would stay in Los Angeles, he soon decided to follow his original travel plans. Feeling compelled to see to the welfare of his disciples around the country, he left on a tour of 13 ISKCON centers in US and Canada. About half a dozen of his sannyasi disciples traveled with him. Denver, June 27, 1975. Srila Prabhupada was pleasantly surprised to see the brick church building that was now a Krishna temple. A temple hall was spacious, and afternoon sunshine streamed into the room. He beheld the golden forms of Radha Krishna on the altar and then walked to the rear of the hall, where he sat on the Vyasasana, allowing the devotees to bathe his feet. These devotees, unaccustomed to being with their spiritual master, were awkward in performing standard formalities, but they were enthusiastic and happy. Sitting on the floor before Srila Prabhupada, Dashratha began singing O He Vaishnava Thakur, accompanying himself on the harmonium. Srila Prabhupada liked his singing, and when song was finished, asked, You know the meaning? Dashratha replied, O venerable Vaishnava, O ocean of mercy, please be merciful unto your servant. Another devotee added, I pray for the shade of your lotus feet. Yes, Prabhupada acknowledged, and he began to speak about the song's author, Narottam Das Thakur. He then quoted another song by Narottam Das, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva, Nistar Payecha Keba. This Krishna conscious movement is so is for Nistara, he said. Nistara means to be liberated from the capture of Maya. When we hear songs by Vaishnava, that is called liberation. Although devotees had heard before of Narottam Das Thakur and of liberation, they listened especially attentively now. Here was the Vaishnava Thakur in person, come to teach them to control their passions, to impart to them the strength to carry out the Sankirtan movement, and to bless them as Narottama Das Thakur described, with one drop of faith with which to attain great treasure of the holy name. So I am very glad to see this temple. Srila Prabhupada said to the group of about 40 devotees. You have purchased it? That's nice. Very good space. And devotees here are very nice. So our process is very simple, that we dedicate our life to the service of Vaishnava. And according to his direction, we engage in Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting of Vishnu, and refrain from sinful activities. Then life is successful. We do not require to be very learned or very rich men or to take birth in a very high family. For deriving for driving Srila Prabhupada to the park, a friend of Denver Temple had lent his Lincoln Continental, formerly Richard Nixon's presidential limousine. Brahmananda Swami pointed out the car's luxurious features to Prabhupada, including bulletproof glass windows. So bullet is expected also? Prabhupada laughed. Brahmananda remarked that world leaders were always in anxiety. Prabhupada agreed. In the material world, there was danger at every step. He began talking of Indian politics, Indira Gandhi, Jayaprakash Narayana, in bitter disagreement. Both of them are in distressed position, Prabhupada said. I am thinking of writing them on basis of our Bhagavad Gita. Do you think it is advised? When Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Indira Gandhi occasionally went to see her guru, Anandamayi, Brahmananda remarked that her guru had commented favorably about chanting of Hare Krishna. So what do you think? Prabhupada asked his sannyasis. Tamal Krishna, Bhavananda, Satsarup. Shall I write? Hmm. I have a draft of a letter this night. So you come and see it. Let us take a chance. We want good for everyone. And this is the only medicine. Hare Krishna. For all wrongs. Para dukha dukhi, people are suffering. Devotees agreed the letters would be a good idea, although they doubted whether politicians would take the advice or even read such letters. Prabhupada then asked about the public's response to Krishna consciousness in Denver. They get nice attendance on Sundays, Satsarup answered. Many people come. There is a good hope, Prabhupada found. A good book distribution here too? Prabhupada nodded. That is the most successful. Wherever book distribution is going on nicely, that is successful. Because people are in general in gross ignorance. They are taking this temporary life as everything. Very horrible condition. We are trying to explain what is actual life. They arrived at the park, which was filled with tall old pines, maples, and oaks. Getting out of the car, Prabhupada stood facing a pond. In the distance, he could see Denver's skyline and Rocky Mountain. He could hear the quacking of ducks and geese from the pond. A second carload of devotees arrived, and Prabhupada and his followers began walking along the paved path beside the lake. Very nice park, Prabhupada remarked, and not far away. They soon come upon a large modern building, the Museum of Natural History. That means Darwin's theory, that's all, said Prabhupada. Their whole civilization is based on this Darwin theory. How long you shall keep history? Do you know what is the history of the sun? When it was created? When it came into appearance? Can Darwin give us the history of the sun or the moon or sky? Where is the history? There is history, but where is the history? You simply imagine. There was a chunk and it became manifested as the sun, moon, and I'm also this. What do you actually know? How has this cosmic manifestation come into existence? The sun rose with the dazzling golden rays and quickly warmed the air. The devotees offered Prabhupada information about Denver, the mile high city. It was good for health, they said. Prabhupada said, climate was as in Punjab, the upcountry in India. It also heard how Colorado was known as cow country because its main industry was slaughter. Prabhupada walked past a zoo and down a hill. He passed a Civil War cannon and saw many colorful flower beds, expensive lawns, and everywhere the tall pines. Although the air seemed chilly for July, brightness of the rising sun was unusual, and the natural scenery of the park stood out sharply. Srila Prabhupada also appeared bathed in golden light as he walked briskly and wrapped in his grey chadar, talking from time to time with his disciples. Prabhupada mentioned Gopal Agrawal, the man at whose home he had first stayed after arriving in America in 1965. Gopal's father, he said, was very rich man in Mathura, and Gopal had come to America to be an electrical engineer. He was not doing as well as he would have by staying in India. Prabhupada said, Gopal's wife Sally used to say, my husband is a lost child of his parents. People are working so hard day and night for these temporary years, Prabhupada said, although by laboring less than that, they can go back to Godhead. Just to get a nice car, nice wife, a few children by working so hard. And by same labor, if the devotee himself, so by the same labor, if he devotes himself to Krishna consciousness, then he goes back home, back to Godhead. And what is wrong there? We have got so many Krishna conscious devotees. What is wrong there compared to these ordinary karmis? Hmm? Are you unhappy? What do you think? All their efforts will be finished. and after that they will become a cat or dog or a tree. Devotee. Sometimes, Srila Prabhupada, even if we explain this and people seem to understand, still they won't do anything about it. Prabhupada. So you have to constantly poke them. Just like when a man is sleeping, you have to call him constantly. Mr. John, wake up, you rascal. Why are you sleeping? You have got this opportunity of human form of life. Now get up, take to Krishna consciousness and solve all your problems. Devotee. Some people say that if we want to do this, it's all right, but we should not preach and insist to them. Everyone has his own way. Srila Prabhupada. But you are a human being, you rascal. You are sleeping, and we are just trying to awaken you. Suppose a child was going off to one side where there is a danger. We are human beings, so we shall say, no, 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 go to the right. We shall try to save him. That is our business, to do good to others. That is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Note that this man is going to hell, so let him go to hell. But at least I am happy. That is not human. Devotee. A lot of times, Srila Prabhupada, they feel we are just escaping material life. They say we don't have jobs and that we should work for a living. Prabhupada, addressing an imaginary challenger. You rascal, you have no money, you work. But we are rich men. We are Krishna's sons. So why shall I work like you, an ass? An ass will work unnecessarily. We are not asses. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada said, establishes Lord Krishna as the proprietor of everything. The servants of Krishna, therefore, should not be expected to work hard like asses. Asses work hard, not human beings. This was also instruction of Rishabdev in Srimad Bhagavatam. Rishabdev told his sons that human life is not meant for working hard simply for food and sex enjoyment. That was the business of hogs. Prabhupada. Tell them they are working like hogs and we are living like human beings. That is the difference. If somebody does not work hard like a hog, does that mean he is escaping? Srila Prabhupada continued to vigorously develop his theme. He argued very seriously and yet in a delightful way, showing the fortune of one who becomes a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee could not refrain from smiling and laughing as they hurried to keep up with his pace and with his Krishna conscious logic. Prabhupada, I was a student of economics. There we learned Marshall's theory. He says that human nature is such that unless a person has obligation, he will not work. That is the beginning of economics. If one already has something sufficient to eat, then he will not work. So if you have sufficient to eat, why shall we work? What is the answer? This is not escaping, it is coming to the light. To not work and yet get our necessities is comfort. But to work hard just to get bare necessities of life, that is for hogs and dogs. Devotee. They have no faith or trust that this can be done. Prabhupada. See us, you rascal, see. Open your eyes. See that we have no business. We have no food stock. Still, we are not worried. We do not know what we shall eat in the evening, but still, we are not worried. I came to your country without any subsistence. Quote, Prabhupada argued that man's economic necessities could be easily settled by keeping cows and land. He said that men have made an unnecessary complex arrangement just for maintaining the body, thereby forgetting the purpose of human life. When a devotee contended that not everyone had the opportunity to get the land, Prabhupada said this was simply mismanagement. There was plenty of land in America. There was plenty of land in America. Devotee. Srila Prabhupada, they accuse us of being parasites. Srila Prabhupada, no. A parasite means if he takes others' property and tries to enjoy it. But we are not enjoying others' property. We are enjoying our father's property. Isha Vashyam Midam Sarvam. Krishna is the proprietor. Why do you say parasite? We are good children of Krishna. And Krishna says, don't work, I shall give you everything. Actually, Krishna says that, why are you working so hard? Just surrender unto me, and I will give you protection, whatever you want. So we are giving everything. Why say parasite? The devotees were well aware that Srila Prabhupada did work, traveling constantly, managing his worldwide Krishna conscious society, rising in the middle of the night to translate Srimad Bhagavatam. And his disciples also worked hard, but they did not work like animals and animal like persons for things that would be destroyed in time. And they did not work at horrible enterprises that ruin the best part of human nature. They did not work like asses and claim they had no time left in the day to chant the holy name of the God. Prabhupada, now this is a nice park, but nobody is coming here. We Krishna conscious people, we are taking advantage. So they are escaping. And so they are escaping or we are escaping. Just see how foolish they are. They work so hard, but they are not taking advantage. But we are taking. So our policy is that you work hard, we go and take from you. This is not escaping. This is intelligence. Srila Prabhupada's example was delightful revelation to the devotees, and they laughed at the obvious truth. Here they were walking so pleasantly with their spiritual master, and yet no one else was coming to enjoy the park. Prabhupada, but as soon as we ask, you also come and join, they will not. They say, no, we shall work like this. We are asking everyone, come here, but they will not come. That is their enviousness. Therefore, they say we are escaping and living at the cost of others. They see that we have got so many cars and devotees' faces are bright. We are eating nicely, have no problems. But if you ask them to come, then it is very difficult. If you ask them to chant Hare Krishna and dance, oh, it is very big, heavy task for them. As soon as they will come, they will know that there is no tea, no liquor, no meat, no cigarette. So you can say that we are escaping these things, but we are not escaping happiness. They are escaping happiness. When Srila Prabhupada did not have a specific engagement in Denver, a few of his men sometimes gathered in his room. Occasionally, he would provoke some of them into mock debate with him. Srila Prabhupada, everything must come from something. No one can deny that. Now we give our challenge. Do you know what that absolute truth is? Brahmananda. We know there is absolute truth, but at this time we cannot directly say what it is. Prabhupada immediately replied that if a person admits not knowing the absolute truth, then that person has no grounds for rejecting Vedic explanation of the absolute. That person cannot deny Krishna is the absolute truth. If you don't know the philosophy, Prabhupada said, then you must agree to hear from an authority who does. Satsaru. Yes, that argument is logical. We should at least listen to you. But we have heard so many versions of the truth. Why should we accept your version? Prabhupada. That is like saying, I have come across so many counterfeit coins. Why should I think there are real coins? There are counterfeit coins and there must also be genuine coins. It is our misfortune if we are unable to distinguish the real coins from the counterfeit coins. So it is time now. We'll stop here and we'll continue this conversation tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Anybody has any question, comments, chastisement, realizations? All right. So if there is no other question, we'll wrap up and continue our chanting. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Thank you, dear devotees, for listening to me, and please forgive me if I have not read properly. So now we'll continue chanting. Hare Krishna.